Good morning. So today we're gonna foam roll and do some mobility work. For those of you guys who are new, I am coming back from ACL surgery, so I'm about 2.5 weeks out, and I'm doing really well. And this is why, because I have a really good habit of foam rolling, stretching, and then I've spent a lot of time doing work on my knee throughout the day and stuff like that. So I will be able to do most of what I'm going to walk you through. So it's very beginner friendly, but there will be some things that I probably won't be able to demonstrate as well. I'm gonna try to stay away from those as much as I can, but I'll show you modifications as we go through. So we'll start by foam rolling. I actually had somebody comment about making your own foam roller, so I want to talk about that a little bit as well. But we'll start, just grab your foam roller, we'll start with the upper back and the full back. So I give my full back a couple rolls just to get warmed up. So this is first thing in the morning. I literally get out of bed, wash my face, do that stuff, and then I come in here and I start rolling out and stretching for the day. So I just want to start warming up my body. So I give it a couple rolls down my back. Sometimes I get some good cracks, especially with this one. So this is a foam roller I use. I like that it has the divots in it. It's a pretty dense one, so it's definitely more intrusive in the muscles. It gets it good. So we'll start working up to the upper back and start to get in that shoulder blade area. So I'm leaning into my right side right now and getting into my shoulder blade, and then the inside of my shoulder blade as well, in between the shoulder blade and the spine. And then we'll kind of work over to the side and get our lats, which is right in here, right under our armpit. Whew. That one is tender. I always neglect to get it, simply because it can be tender, but it's something on my body that tends to get tight, so I try to give it a couple rolls. And because I do this every morning, I don't spend too much time on any one part of my body unless it's really really festered up. I guess that's probably not the best word, but yeah. So then we'll go to the other side, lean to the left a little bit, get in between that shoulder blade and the spine, and then maybe into the lat a little bit, turning over. And then we'll go do a couple T-spine exercises. I'm always scooching. I think because I lean into it really hard, I'm always scooching back. So you may lose me a couple times, but I'll do my best to get back to the middle. Okay, we'll do a couple T-spine openers. So your T-spine is kind of like the middle of your back, upper back. And when we're sitting a lot like this, sometimes it gets closed off. So we really want to open it up our front side. So we'll just put the foam roller somewhere in the mid back, upper back area. And then you put your elbows in front of your chest or in front of your eyeballs, and just let your shoulders drop over the foam roller and then squeeze back up. And we'll do a couple of these. You can either hang out at the bottom and get a couple deep breaths, or just move back and forth. And then you can work your way up your spine. So do a couple in one area and then roll up just a little bit. Do a couple in one area, roll up, and then just keep going. And then maybe give it a little roll out. Maybe find a different spot, do the same thing, a little bit lower. And then we'll move into our low back. So same thing here, we'll just kind of go up and down in the middle, and then you can lean to the side and get in that lower quadrant area. There's a lot of stuff in there that can start to get tight, especially again from sitting. Things get really stiff and rounded and stretched in the back side of our body, and so it's important to roll it out and really get it to relax, and maybe even work the other way. So instead of being in this banana position, we're actually opening and squeezing it out, squeezing it back. So yeah, so we'll do a little bit of that while I talk about the foam roller. So in one of the comments on one of my videos, a guy commented how to make your own foam roller, and he used an old flat pillow and duct tape. And I think you could probably use a blanket as well, and I thought that was really creative. So you roll the pillow or the blanket or the towel up really, really tight, and you probably need like, I mean, I would say just depending on like how big you want the foam roller, but I would say probably about like 5 or 6 inches around in diameter, and then just wrap it really tight with a ton of duct tape. So just like keep going until it kind of reaches the density that you need it. I think you can probably add something a little bit harder underneath it if you wanted to, and like so to make it like a little bit more dense. So the harder it is, the more it's going to dig into your muscles. So if you want something soft, especially if you're a beginner and rolling out, go with softer. But if you have been rolling out for a little while and you want to dig deeper into your muscles, then I would suggest putting something a little bit harder into there. One thing I've used is PVC pipes. So again, buying something about like 4, 5, 6 inches in diameter, and just use the PVC pipe. That is probably advanced level. It is not super comfortable, especially like for things like your back, but if you want to get into your glutes really good, if you want to get into your calves, your hamstrings, that's a really good option. But again, you could take that and you could maybe wrap it in like a hand towel or a couple hand towels or a towel or something, and then tape it up with duct tape, and then you have something that's really dense underneath, but a little bit softer on the top. So you can kind of play with that a little bit, and that's probably going to be way cheaper than I didn't know how much this foam roller was, but I looked it up and it's $44, which like it's totally, I would say it's worth it, but that's definitely like a lot for a foam roller. But it's like a one-time investment, and I've had this thing forever, so I would say it's worth the investment, definitely, but I understand that $44 is a lot. So there's other ways to make a foam roller, and those are a couple of them. So thanks to that guy who commented that. All right, back to this. We're on our glutes. Hopefully you've been following with me. So with the glutes, you have obviously 2 sides, and then there's some muscles that run in between, like over your tailbone. So that's why I really like this thing, is it gets around the muscles, or it gets around the spine and the bones all the way down and really digs into the muscles. So it has this like divot, so that you can kind of like allow your bones to get in that and then really dig into the muscles around it. With the glutes, I like to lean to the side and maybe move my knees around just to kind of see. There's so many muscles that go so many different directions in your glutes. You kind of gotta like, again, move around, get creative, and find what works. So sometimes getting a little bit higher, closer to the top of my hip bone, and that's where I feel it right now, especially with my knee, coming back from my knee. That's something that's been pretty tight for me. So I'll sit here for a little while, just breathe through it until it relaxes, or just give it a little roll, but more focused on that rather than like a big roll. Oof. Yeah, that side is hard. Alright, and then we'll go to the side. Same thing. Just rolling up and down. Be careful, working around your hip bone. Kind of come to the front a little bit. So in the front, there's this muscle. One of the coaches I worked with, he calls it the pocket muscle because it's kind of right where your pocket is, but it's at the bend of your hip crease, just right to the outside. And that one is the one that gets really short from sitting. So if you sit a lot and you have knee issues, that's going to be one that is your target area. Oh yeah, and then we'll come onto the front hip and really dig into that hip flexor and come above the hip bone and kind of start to get, so there are muscles that run over your hip bone, kind of in your stomach area, so you don't want to like squish your organs inside. That's not a bad thing to do, but we'll just kind of gently go over the hip bone, and I'm really reaching that right leg back, so I'm stretching that muscle as well over the foam roller. The more you can lengthen over the foam roller, the more you're going to be able to get in and really smooth out that muscle. So I'll come out of that one and go to the left side to do the same thing. So working into the glutes a little bit, and then we'll start to go to the side hip. Oh yeah, that's a good one. But my left side is also frustrated because it's having to take over for my right side. So all kinds of whacked out right now, and that's typical when you have some sort of injury, whether you've had surgery for it or not. And then we'll roll to the side a little bit more and start to work into that pocket muscle. So if you have any tightness, injury, chronic things that maybe you deal with, a lot of times those are going to affect the rest of your body. And I'm sure, again, if you're dealing with those chronic issues, you know that is something that you start to feel pain all over your body. And as I started getting older, I know that I look like I'm a lot younger, but I am 30 years old, and I started this foam rolling habit, foam roll and stretch habit, probably about 1.5 years ago. I was fishing offshore, and I was like getting beat up, you know, like my body was hurting, it wasn't taking it well, but I wasn't gonna stop fishing. Let's move to our hamstrings now and just roll. I put both of them on the foam roller just because it's easier to manage my body weight that way, but feel free to do one at a time. That'll get a little bit more into that single leg. So I was fishing at the time offshore, and that's really rough on your body. I was like, 28 going on 29, and I've had years of athletics on my body, and I was just waking up sore in the morning, and I was like, okay, well, I need to get back. Like, I wasn't at the gym, and I wasn't really taking care of my body, and I was like, okay, well, I need to do something. So I just started foam rolling and stretching in the morning, and I made sure that I at least touched on the foam roller every single morning. With that excuse, I would get on it and roll up my back. If that was the most I did, that was the most I did. Or I would get into a full program like this. And then with your hamstrings, you have multiple that run back down the back side of your leg. So again, you want to kind of like roll to the right and get the inside of your left, outside of your right, roll to the left, get the inside of your right, outside of your left. So just kind of working around and seeing what feels good. There may be some that are tighter than others, and that's okay. But anyway, so getting into this habit and doing this every single day really helped with my chronic pain and stiffness. So as you get older, it's natural to start to feel a little bit of just general stiffness because your tissues are getting older and you're not as active, especially if you have a sedentary job, which is most of what this world is. You're either in some kind of trade or you're sitting at a desk, and that can be, both of them can be really hard on your body in different ways, which is like so crazy to think that sitting can be hard on your body because it seems pretty easy, but they can be. And then obviously trades, you're working your ass off physically, and so there's a reason to take care of your body in both scenarios. And this has been something that has hugely helped. And again, it's like there's some days where I'll sit here for 30-45 minutes and stretch and foam roll, and there's some days where I just roll really quick and that's it. And either way it helps, and as long as I'm keeping up that habit, I've noticed that my body just feels better. And when I don't touch on my foam roller like at all, that's when I start to feel like I notice it through the day. So this has been something that's so helpful to me. With the calves, this one's pretty tender, but again, there's multiple muscles. So there's 2 different muscles in your calves. You also have muscles that run up and down the side on your shins. So you want to make sure that you're rolling to the inside and to the outside. With your calves, you can roll them both at the same time, but I find it easier to have a little bit of support. Your leverage is going to get a little bit less as you get out. So having that other foot to help manage your body weight is nice. And now we'll switch sides. Same thing. And then as you're doing this, you just really want to focus on your body. So what it's given me is kind of like a checkpoint for how I'm feeling that day. Because you get to know your body. When you spend time with your body every single day and doing something like this where you're touching on pretty much every part of your body and you're working with your muscles and you're doing stretching and you're putting yourself, like, a routine allows you to have these checkpoints. So when I do the same foam rolling and I do some of the same stretches every single day, and so that way I notice when my body is different, and maybe I did something different the day before and now I'm feeling it the next day or 2 days later. But it allows me to have these checkpoints and know, like, okay, when I go into my workout or when I go into my work or whatever I'm doing today, like, I want to be mindful that that exists. Maybe I can't do anything about it. Maybe it's just soreness and so I let it go. But maybe it's something that I can do, like, again, like maybe come back and foam roll it a little bit more later on in the day or focus on stretching it throughout the day. So we'll flip over on our stomachs and then rolling out the quads. So again, we have multiple muscles in our quads, so rolling, opening to the right is going to get the inside of that right leg, outside of that left leg, and then we'll go down the middle, and then open up to the left, get the outside of the right. And if you're like me and you're having some issues with your knee, maybe support your leg here. I got the hamstring graft, so it's hard to keep my leg up. And then I like this one to roll out my shins just because I can, again, put my bone right in the divot here and then allow the raised areas to get in my muscles. I haven't done this one yet, so I'm gonna see if I can show you just on maybe my left side. And then for those of you guys who have a flat foam roller, you can also do the same, but just kind of like lean inward. So you're focused on the meat of the bone, not the bone itself. Okay, you can go ahead and toss the foam roller to the side. Let's start on our stomachs in I think this is cobra position, Sphinx, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to take our chest forward, our chin high and back, and think about pulling our elbows into our sides. So we're going to engage the lats, engage the back muscles all the way up. Again, thinking about taking that chin back, squeezing your shoulder blades back, squeezing your low back muscles, pushing your belly button into the ground. Squeeze your glutes. Pull those elbows in and relax. Go ahead and round the back, pushing every vertebrae up to the sky, pushing your elbows into the ground, and relax. We'll go ahead and take the chest down, hands underneath the shoulders, right next to your chest, underneath your armpits, and then we'll tuck our toes. What we're going to try to do is push everything up at one time, so get everything off the ground at one time. If you can't do that, that's okay, but work towards it. So we're going to squeeze our shoulders, squeeze our abs, squeeze our glutes, and then push up. Boom, all at one time. And then take your hips up to the sky, drop your heels down to the ground, push your chest to your toes. Think about spreading your fingers on the ground, so get a really firm grip on the ground. That's going to help protect your wrists. And then we'll shift back and forth. Big deep breaths. And then we'll start to add a little bit of contraction. So we're going to think about pushing the ground away, pushing our hips to the sky, really engaging our upper back and our lats. And then think about pushing our hips to the sky and opening up our hamstrings. So we're getting some good contraction in the upper back, thinking about relaxing the back of our legs. And then we'll rock forward, take your chest through your hands, and then lean your shoulders over your hands a little bit if you can. Engage your abs, squeeze, 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 and rock it back. We'll walk out the feet, focusing on the ankles. So maybe you twist your hips towards the right, twist your hips to the left, and you should feel that in your ankles. They should be moving around pretty good. And And then we'll bend the knees and then straighten them. Get different parts of the calves and the ankles stretching out. All right, kick your right leg up to the sky. Maybe let that right foot drop, opening up your right hip. And then take your knee through to your chest. However you can get it in front of you, do that. We'll be in a lunge position. I don't know if you can kind of see that. You can drop your knee if you need to, or keep it straight up. And then we're going to take that right hand and open it up to the right side, get a twist in our back. Look up towards the right hand and reach the right hand toward the sky. Push the ground away with your left hand. Again, really engaging those shoulder blades, the upper back. Squeezing your abs, getting a good twist, using your abs to get into the twist, using your glutes to help you pull your hips up towards the sky. And again, really reach and then relax that back leg down if you haven't already. And then we're going to take that left hip to the ground. So really, I'm going to switch this way so you guys can see me. All right, so we're here, open, twisted. We're going to take that right hand down and drop that left hip to the ground. And this is as far as I can get just because of this leg, but you should be feeling the stretch in your left side of your body. Right now it feels more like a workout, and that's okay, but I feel the stretch down the inside of my hip or the outside of my hip. And then just focus on opening your chest, really expanding, lengthening the left side of your body, and then you should probably even feel it in your right side of your hip here. And then we'll take it to the middle again. And then I just like to shift my hips forward and back, forward and back. And I'm going to be a little bit slower in this position, so just because my knee doesn't move as fast right now, but you can shift it all the way back, stretch out that hamstring, and you can work with your breath or you can just go really slow, work with me. A lot of times I like to inhale forward, bring that chest forward, bend the knee, really drive the knee forward. And it's okay if it comes over your toes, as long as you're not really putting too much weight on it. That's gonna be more of a stretch for the back of your calf and your Achilles and stuff like that. So just depending on where you want your stretch is where you're gonna put your foot. But for me, I want my stretch to be in the back of my hamstring and glute area. So I'm gonna have my ankle underneath my knee and then stretch that forward, big proud chest, and then come back and stretch that hamstring. And here I like to point my toes, roll my ankles around. And this is like one of very few positions that you can find a way to stretch these shin muscles right here. So if you have issues with shin splints or you have a lot of pain in the front of your shin, or even up the side of your leg, this is a really good one to start to get into. Turn your toe inward towards the middle, towards your left side, and then just think about taking your hips back. It's going to stretch from literally the top of my foot. I feel it all the way through here, all the way up into this area of my hip. So that is one thing that is hard to stretch, those areas, and this is one way that it does get in there. And then we'll rock it forward again. And again, feel free to do this one with your breath. Sometimes I do it with my breath, sometimes I do it slower. It just kind of depends on the day. We'll go ahead and come up out of that one and get ready to send your right foot back however you need to. I'm going to walk it out and then back into downward facing dog. If you have wrist issues, it is okay to make a fist and then put your knuckles on the ground and use that. That's going to take a lot of the pain out of your wrists. So go ahead and feel the difference. Maybe one side feels a little bit looser than the other side. For me, my right side actually, it feels a little bit better in spots, but it's also a little stiff in spots, obviously, because of my knee. And then we'll take that left leg up to the sky. I'm gonna rotate again so you guys can see me. All right, left leg goes up to the sky, drop that heel towards the ground, open up your hip. Yeah, that feels good. And then we'll bring that left knee through to the front. This one is going to be where I'm a little bit modified. So we're going to repeat what we did on that side, but mine might look a little bit different, but I'll still talk you guys through it. So we're here, in this lunge position. Again, our knee is over our ankle, maybe within a few inches behind or forward, depending on what feels good for you. So we'll take our chest forward, nice long through the spine, reach that left arm up to the sky. Again, think about reaching, try to touch your fingertips to the sky. Use your right arm to push the ground away. So you see how both of my shoulders are out of my ears, my chest is proud. I'm twisting through my abs, getting a nice twist. Then we'll go ahead and drop down, right hip towards the ground, right knee to the ground, and then start to open up, slide that right hip to the ground. Right now I feel it in the front of my hip, front of my right hip, but it should be your right side of your body, and then maybe the left hip. Big deep breaths, and then we'll rock it to the middle. And then this is where you guys are probably going to differ from me. I'm going to come up off the ground so I can rock back into that straight leg hamstring stretch, and then forward into that lunge, working the hamstring and glute area. But feel free to keep this knee on the ground. I just can't do that right now. And then again, working with the breath. Inhale forward, big proud chest. Exhale, straighten that leg. Allow yourself to relax in that hamstring stretch. Again, work your ankle, so plunk your toes, see how that feels. Maybe roll it to the inside, roll it to the outside. The thing about your body is there's things that go a lot of different directions. So the more you move through stretches, the more you're going to open up and learn about your body and what's tight and what's not. One directional stretches just really don't accomplish as much as you would think. So they're good, definitely do them if you're going to do anything stretch, but moving through your stretches allows you to open up more of your range of motion, learn more about your different muscles and the directions they go, and what actually may be causing some of your pain. All right, we'll go ahead and take that left leg back into down dog. Again, got a hair in my mouth. Notice how different the sides feel. Maybe one feels better than the other. Maybe that's normal for you. Let's slide the hips open, get a little twist, drop one knee, drop the other knee. And then walk your feet up towards your hands, as close as you can get them. That is something that I've been practicing a whole lot, so if you can't get it, we'll get there. This is one of my favorite stretches to do. I got a fuzz in my mouth or something. Okay, we're good. This is one of my favorite stretches to do. I'm getting a little close to you. I literally will just stand up randomly throughout the day and just get in this position just so that I can stretch my hamstrings. I like to relax my upper body, let it hang, let it pull everything from the back side of my legs all the way through my low back. The weight of my upper body is going to allow those things to stretch naturally without even having to pull myself into a position. So it's a very relaxed stretch, and I just hang here for, as long as I want, really. And sometimes I'll put my hands on the ground and roll into like practicing a handstand. So my goal by the end of my recovery for my ACL is to be able to do a handstand and start to do more handstand work. So I'll get into this and kind of roll forward and push my shoulder blades apart and lift my hips towards the sky and then rock back in. So I go back and forth and going into my hands, the weight in my hands, the weight's back in my heels, weights in my toes, weights in my hands, weights in my toes, weights in my heel. And just kind of rock back and forth, because again, that's going to give you different sensations in your muscles. It's going to allow you to stretch different things depending on where your body weight is. So this is one that you can really just do a lot from. You can even twist to the side. So I'm taking my right hand to my left foot and then opening up my left arm to the ceiling, get a nice twist in, and then take it to the other side. Left leg or left arm to your right foot, right arm to the sky. And big deep breaths. So the longer you hang here, and we'll do this for a second actually, and then close the practice with a couple big deep breaths. I literally will just sit here and focus on my breathing. So find a comfortable position, whether it's hands on the ground to take some of the weight out of the back of your legs, or cross your arms, whatever's comfortable for you. Grab your shins. Again, find a position that's comfortable for you that you can sit in for a little while. We're going to focus on breathing. So go ahead and close your eyes and find places in your body that need a little bit of assistance in the stretch, need to relax. Probably going to be your hamstrings, probably the top of the back of your legs, maybe in your low back. And then what you want to do is inhale, and as you inhale, think about bringing oxygen and space into those areas. And focus on one at a time, and then hold that space for about 2 seconds. And then exhale and think about relaxing deeper in the stretch, releasing that tension, and then hold that for 2 seconds. So we'll do that for, let's go 3 breaths. Inhale about 3 to 4 seconds. Create space and hold the space. Exhale, relax into the stretch, allow the tension to release. Hold that emptiness for 2 seconds. And then inhale. We'll go 2 on our own. And then add a slight bend in your knees. And then we'll slowly roll up, starting from our tailbone, 1 vertebrae at a time. Slide your hands up from your legs. Curl, 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 all the way up through your upper back. And the last thing to come up is your chin. Be careful, because when you sit down or are upside down for a little while, here, let me do this number. When you're upside down for a little while, you will get a rush of blood to the head, and that's okay. You're crooked, but we only have a little bit left to go. So what I like to do at the end, after I sit in that position, and again, this goes throughout the day, so whenever I feel like it, I go to stretch my hamstrings and that, and it stretches the whole back side of my body, and it feels really good. But then when I come up out of it, I want to squeeze all those muscles. So I get my hips underneath, or my feet underneath my hips, and then I take my hands and then spread my fingers as far apart as I possibly can, palms facing forward. I squeeze my shoulder blades down and back, my shoulders are out of my ears, and then I reach my hands in a circle over my head, and I'm reaching my fingertips as far away from my head as I possibly can, and squeezing the back side of my body, opening up my chest, letting my hips come forward, my rib cage come up, my chest go up to the sky, hands come together at the top, and then relax them down on the exhale. And then I just do that a couple times, and what it does is it opens up my chest, it squeezes the back side of my body, so I'm really engaging those muscles and getting them warmed up. So we'll do 2 more just like that. Again, inhale, big expansion, reach, reach, reach. Chest comes up, reach overhead, nice big stretch, get as tall as you possibly can. Exhale, let it all out. 1 more just like that. Big reach, push those hips forward, chest up to the sky, and exhale, relax. And then just give it a little shake out. Your body might be a little bit stiff from sitting in a couple stretching positions, and that's okay. You just gotta give it a little shake to move some of that stuff through. So that's my morning routine. Again, as I'm explaining it, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But once you guys get the routine down and you figure out all the different stretches that you like and the different ways you like to foam roll, you can kind of plug and play and pick a couple things that you want to do from the foam rolling, pick a couple stretches that you want to do, make it a little bit shorter, or you can spend a lot of time with your body, especially like on a Sunday morning if you don't have anything. That's a really good day to take the time to take care of your body before you go into a new week of work. So thanks for joining me. I hope you feel better. I know you probably do, because I do. And yeah, okay, peace.